All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Friday. God bless everybody in Jesus' name, in Yeshua's name. Even if you're not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed as Bitcoin is consolidating. And I know what y'all are thinking, man. You guys are scared. You're scared because you're looking at the chart and you're saying, you know what? Looks like Big Daddy Perp, Big Dirty Perp is showing his face again. Let's see. What do we see? Oh my goodness. Big Dirty Perp coming on in with those purple candles in this potential head and shoulders bearish pattern. I'm going to actually talk about why I'm actually pretty bullish here. Even though on the low time frames I can understand a bearish sentiment, I'm going to stick to my bullish guns, baby. I'm going to stick to my bullish guns. All right, my guns are bullish, baby. You see that? We ain't bearish. All right, we're in a caloric surplus up in here, lifting heavy weights 3 times a week. All right, shout out to Splashfire Films with the purple candle. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Shout out to my man JB Hulk Smash who says dumb ping. Are we dumping? Are we dumping? Let's check it out. All right, let's go to a different. Are we dumping, bro? Are we dumping right now? Are we dumping? Like, is this dumping? Come on, man. All right. Got to give a major shout out to Peter D. Shout out to Amon T. Shout out to Tina D. Shout out to Bueno. Shout out to XR Bobby who says Buenos Dias. Shout out to Andy D who says Amen. Shout out to Felipe who says gotta dye the beard. Look, bro, I can't help it that my facial hair is a different color than my head hair. It's just the genetics that I've been gifted. Shout out to ES_car. Jason, sell in July and go to Dubai. Ha! Major shout out to Mario Design who says, yeah. Major shout out to Investment Time. And Crypto Coons holding it down with the rent. Shout out to Pierre who says long Bitcoin 2000x. Shout out to Vegas Claw. Jason, the type of guy to have his wife sit in the back for better weight distribution. I don't quite get it, man. Over my head, bro. Over my head. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Cybernetic123 just closed the long. Interesting. Sound is bad, dude. No sound? We got no sound. We got no sound. Guys, how's the mic? How's the mic? Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. How's the mic? How's mic looking? Can you guys hear me? Check one. Check. Mic check. Mic check. Let me know in the chat. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Cause Misanthropic says no sound IDK. Shout out to Elvis Prophet. Good morning to you. All right, we have it. We have good. All right. Shout out to Splashfire Films. He says refresh y'all. Shout out to Jewel. Have a look at Bitcoin Dominance printing monthly red dot on MCB. That's bullish for altcoins, man. Shout out to Crypto Mall. Shout out to Behold. Shout out to Dude. Mike is good. Okay. Spot Bag sitting fat right now says Gen X. D-Gen X DeFi. Big Daddy Casper in the house. Shout out to Jeremiah Adams. Shout out to Paul Pioneer. All right. All right. So look, we got the Bitcoin price consolidating around here. And I do have to say the consolidation is to be expected given the context of the market. All right, given the context of the market, it is to be expected here. All right, yeah, we got big dirty perp. A few small purple candles coming on in angrily trying to dump the Bitcoin price on us, if you know what I mean. Guys, we got to give a major shout out, first of all, to the sponsors of the channel. WEEX, link in the description, really good fees. BLOFIN, link in the description, really great platform, really good fees. Also, I've been trading on this new exchange called KCEX. All right, KCEX, what a strange name for, I don't know, like KCEX, I don't know, it's some, you know what probably happened with the name? It's probably a whole bunch of smart Asian businessmen. They're like, we need no exchange. Stupid American, they love sex, so we call it KCEX. And then we get all the money when they get liquidated. That's probably what happened, right? But that's the name of the exchange, okay? And look, I love the exchange because it has very low fees. All right? 0% limit order, 0.01% take it order. You could scalp, market in, market out. All right, and make money. And if you guys are wondering what happened to my trade from yesterday, it was a loss, guys. Oh man, 800 smackaroonies down the toilet bowl. But look, it happens, man. 800 smacks down the toilet, back up another 1K. Plus, we're up 30 grand on this trade. Plus another 10, that's 40 grand. Plus another 5, that's 45 grand. We're up, so 800 bucks for just in case of dumpage. For me, it's not a big deal. Okay. We also got to give a major shout out to the Casper Crew VIP Discord. All right, look at this. $100,000 long given in advance. Told everyone when I was going long. Boom, lock the profits, baby. 105K given in advance. Told everyone I was long. Boom, lock the profits, baby. And of course, long trade from 117. Gave it in advance. Told everyone when I was taking it long. And boom, we locked the profits. That's how we do, y'all. In the Casper Crew. All right. JasonCasperTrading.com to join the best trading community in the world. Now, the Bitcoin price is consolidating here. This is pretty much what we would expect because if we take a look at the chart over on TradingView, let's take a quick look at what's been going on here. The context of the market, as we know, is a battle. It's a war, okay? Let's see. Here we go. You were expecting a bigger dump, says Mr. Q. Yeah, let's talk about it, all right? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, all right? Now, what do we have on the chart here? Like, okay, so we gotta build some context, because I know people are feeling like dumpy here, but let's just understand the context. We have ourselves a very macro uptrend, trend line, higher highs, higher lows. We've just broken out of the range, something that we've only seen happen 4 times throughout the entirety of the bull market. We have follow through. We have a strong weekly candle close. There's no question as to whether or not we're breaking out of this range. Let me remove this chat from Mr. Q. No offense, Mr. Q, but you're blocking the TA. All right. And so now we're getting our first doji after the breakout. We go back to previous breakouts. And really, once we get the breakout, it's pretty much straight up. All right. We get this breakout here back in February 2024. Big breakout, doji candle, and then the following week, big pump. Now let's mark this doji candle on the chart, and let's go to the daily time frame as it looked back then after the breakout of the range. All right. And what do you know? Guys, what do you know? We printed a red dot on market Cipher B after the big breakout. And a lot of people are saying, oh, bearish, we're going to dump, baby, because we have bearish divergences, all right? Now, remember, it's always a battle. It's a battle between the red dot, or as we say in Espanol, el punto rojo. Mexican gangster, always trying to smuggle those bearish candles across the borders of support. But his arch nemesis, el punto verde, is always there to try and push the price back up above the border of support and resistance. And right now, in our current day, what do we have? Well, we have the big breakout. We have El Punto Rojo trying his best to push the price down. Look, every Bitcoin bear looks like this. All right, if you're bearish on Bitcoin, this is you. All right, look up Bitcoin bear in the dictionary. You see a good old picture of El Punto Rojo. Okay, but look at the daily market Cipher B here. Let's go down to like our 12-hour market Cipher B. Let's go down to our 6-hour market Cipher B. Let's go down to our 4-hour market Cipher B. You guys notice something? El Punto Verde on the lower time frames is keeping El Punto Rojo from pushing the price down. And we're consolidating. Now, I also want to point out the fact that the Bitcoin price in general, in this uptrend, has indeed been characterized by breakouts and then consolidations that could dump like crazy, but don't. So what I mean by that is right now, we understand that, yeah, we've broken out. We're building a lot of liquidity underneath these lows, and we have no support until the back test of around $110,000. And so a lot of people are saying, oh, head and shoulders, we're going to come back down, right? I just want to remind you guys that the pattern for Bitcoin is we get the pump, we get the consolidation, and we don't take the liquidity. This happens all the time. Look at the whole entire move up we've gotten since April. You pump, you consolidate, you form the higher lows, you don't take the liquidity. The only time we took the liquidity was when we knocked into the big value area high of the range. Now this was an 8-month level of support and resistance. So this is a very significant level. And yeah, we took the liquidity here, but also what we got here was a breakout, a back test, and now another higher high. So this entire structure is bullish. And now that we're above that level, already having broken out, back tested, and gotten the pump, are we going to see this pattern continue where we're not going to come back to take the liquidity? I think it's pretty likely based on what I'm seeing on some of these higher term time frames. Look at the weekly time frame, for example, on market Cipher B. That money flow getting thicker, that momentum wave getting thicker. Our 2-day, look at the momentum wave. I just want to point out here the momentum wave on market Cipher B. When it's very flat like this, right? When we print a red dot, but it's very flat, that usually doesn't give us a big move down, right? Like over here, it was very flat. Didn't really give us a big move down. We got another big push to the upside there. When you see a sharp momentum wave like this, that's when you're going to get that big move to the downside. But when it's very flat, like we saw right here, you're typically not going to get that big move. Look at the angular the angular red dots, like this one here, that gives us our big move down. When it's flat like this, we continue to pump to the upside, even though we have the red dot. So this is why I'm still feeling kind of bullish right now on Bitcoin. And when I say bullish, I mean I expect consolidation here until we get another daily green dot. All right, remember when we broke out of the January range, let's see, we've got to go back. Oh man, I'm so bad at reading charts. I don't know a dang thing about price action or anything like that. I'm such an idiot, imbecile. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, right? Now, if that's not going to get you to subscribe, I don't know what is. I'm a moron, I'm an idiot. Please subscribe to the channel. Okay? Because the thing is, I really don't know anything about trading, but I need you to buy my course so I can pay my rent. Speaking of that, guys, if you want to learn how to trade, go buy my course. It's totally free. It's actually 100% free on YouTube. Go check it out. Totally free on YouTube. 18 sessions. This will give you the juice that you need to become a confident, profitable trader. All right? Now, when we broke out in January, you can see that El Punto Rojo pretty much kept us consolidating until El Punto Verde comes back, and then when we get that next big pump. All right, so that took about, from the time El Punto Rojo confirms here until El Punto Verde, that's about 10 days. All right, so here we are right now. We had El Punto Rojo. Let's go ahead and take our measuring tool here, and let's count out 10 days. That's going to put us at about Saturday, the 26th of July, 2025. All right. So from our current day, that's another week. All right. That's like another week maybe we have of sideways kind of consolidation, which is good, especially if we want to see altcoins pump. Okay. And of course, our next big target for Bitcoin is going to be $130,000. And the reason why I say $130,000 is because that is our next big level of resistance based on our Fibonacci extension targets. When you are in price discovery mode, you want to be using your trend-based Fibonacci from the low to the high to the low. And then we zoom back in here. You can see right now, and this is not pulled right because I didn't use the magnet tool. There you go. You put it right on that wick there. You can see that we're literally rejecting from our 1.618 Fibonacci to the exact dollar, basically. And our next Fibonacci target is going to be the 1.786 Fib at about $130,000. And then a moonshot target for this cycle, in my opinion, is going to be the 2-to-1 Fibonacci extension, just front running 150,000. Is it going to be one of those super cycles? All right, where we stack everything: trend, Klein, Deca, D-ball, testosterone, HGH, diuretics, everything, just super cycle it all together and just keep going all the way up? Maybe, but I don't think so, okay? Everyone always talks about the super cycle. I've been here for 3 bull markets now in crypto: 2016, 2020, and 2024. And each time people are talking about the super cycle and they go back to 2011 and they look at all this, I'll believe it when I see it. Until then, I'd say that Bitcoin probably has between 11 and 25% more gains this bull run. Now, I know that might be depressing for some of y'all, but honestly, is that so? That's actually pretty good, I'd say. I mean, that's an 800% gain over the course of a 4-year halving cycle. Now, look, if I'm wrong and we come up to 250K, I will be super happy about that. Now, there is, all right, and look, I know I'm super bullish. I'm getting bullish, more bullish as the stream goes on. I'm getting more bullish as the stream goes on, okay? But let's just discuss this for a second here. All right, we're gonna go back to, we gotta go back. We gotta go way back, all right? Let's go way back and just look at the pattern that's forming here, because I do want to entertain, you know, the idea of like a super cycle, okay? The idea of like this super cycle where, you know, we have seen the pattern before where Bitcoin does trade in a channel like this, and then that channel breaks out, okay? So we have seen this before. We saw it back here, right, where we're trading in this channel, and then that channel does kind of break out, all right? And then right now, we're seeing something similar. We're trading in this channel. Is that channel going to break out? Well, I think what we need to do in order to compare this, because we didn't see this last time, right? Last time we didn't see that. But I think what we should do is we should take a look at the Bitcoin halvings historically and see how they line up with these kind of channels, right? To see if is there a shot here? Do we have a shot? So let's see here. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin halvings. All right, so we had one. We'll start the one that we had in December 2012. All right, so December 2012. This was our halving. And then we had one in July 2016. I guess that was June 2016. We had our halving there. Halving happens right in the middle of the channel. All right, then we had the one in, was it June 2020? I think it was June 2020. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was June 2020. May, but same deal. And then we had ours April 2024, which happened right here. Okay, so, you know, it is quite interesting to see that, you know, around the halfway point of the channel, we have the halving. And the only time we didn't have that was when we had the vid-19 fiasco. Maybe, I mean, you know, you could force it on the high time frame to say that this was a channel, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you could say that, right? But, let's see. You know, we know 500 days after the halving, we reached that all-time high. You know, that happened back here in 2017, our all-time high. In December 2017, 500 days after the halving. Right here, 500 days after the halving. We're pretty much topping out right there. Then, of course, last time, 500 days after the halving. That brings us to November 2021. And so right now, 500 days after the halving, that will take us to, I'd say between September and November 2025. So, man, this would be our all-time high target here on Bitcoin. We're going to make it green because we're all going to be in profit, man. Do we have a lot of time? Do we have a lot of time for that? Let's see. It's 294 days from that breakout of the channel. You know, we've got about 150 days, guys. We got about 150 days for some kind of big blowout breakout of this thing to happen. So time is limited. But I would say this. Although we cannot bank on, we definitely can't bank on that happening. We do need to just be aware of this trend line here. I would say connecting the high from August 2022 to the high in March 2024 and roughly connecting these lows together here of our bull market trend line and just say to ourselves, okay, if we actually start to break out of this, all right, or even let's just, we can make it even, I would pull a few different ones too. I would look at this as well. Like I would connect these two highs here, right? And so, yeah, look at how interesting this is, guys. Look at the confluence here. All right, I'm sorry if this is too nerdy for y'all, but look at the interesting confluence right here. So we take our Fibonacci extension from the low to the high to the low, and look at how the $150,000 level is pretty much lining up right with our trend line here. We've got that nice cross. you know, it's so interesting because not only would we be breaking out of this, but we'd be flipping that potentially level 150,000 into support, and then we could have a big blow off top. Now, is it? I don't think this is going to happen, but I do want to be aware of these types of trend lines here, because this could either be the bull market top. I mean, this trend line could very well be the bull market top, or if we break out, be aware, because a breakout of this level would signal something very strong. You know, very strong. Yeah, super interesting, man. Don't you guys think it's interesting? If you think it's interesting, drop a 1 in the chat. If you think it's interesting, drop a 1. Yeah, Bitcoin's been in a super cycle since its existence. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, that's the thing. Like, Bitcoin is the super cycle. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin is the super cycle. We got some super chats in the house. Shout out to my man, R Pink, in what looks like ancient Aramaic script, but I'm not sure. It could be Syriac. I don't know. I can only read Aramaic in the block font. You can't read it in that kind of font there, man. Is that Arabic? I don't even know. Like, that doesn't look like Arabic to me. I don't know what language that is, R Pink. But we got some super chats. Silosis, he says, pumping into the weekend, small retracement this week, and we will fill the CME gap at 114. On regular candles, we have a CME gap at 114. Look at this, man. Look, I just start thinking to myself, and we end up drawing all these pictures on the chart. You know, let's take a look, Silosis. All right, let's take a look. We got a CME gap at 114. Let's come back to reality. We'll snap back to reality here. 114. Let's see. We'll go to the 4-hour. We got a CME gap at 114. That's interesting. If we pump over the weekend to what, 124-ish? We would have a golden pocket right around that area. And that would also be a nice scenario, Silosis, to come down and basically fake everybody out. Right? Head and shoulders, oh no, we're gonna hit our target back down at 109 to 110. You know, everyone's expecting the real retracement because of the head and shoulder breakdown, and then we just get a fake out. You know, we get a fake out. This is a real possibility, actually. I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea. If you're looking for a long trade, assuming a bullish weekend, then a pullback next week. Do we have a CME gap at 114 also? Let's check it out. I don't see one there. I don't see a CME gap at 114, man. But definitely be aware of a fake out of a head and shoulder pattern. Bitcoin loves to fake out patterns all the time, right? Just wreck the retail. That's how Bitcoin loves to do it. That's how Bitcoin loves to do it. And look, so we talked about my bullish case, my bullish scenario, but we do need to be aware of potential bearish scenarios, right? Because look, as a trader, our job is not to predict what is going to happen. Our job is to plan for anything, right? If you can plan for anything, then you're prepared for everything. And then whatever scenario happens, you're ready to take that trade, all right? No matter what scenario happens, you're ready to take the trade. That is why, well, honestly, this is what I feel is the only way to be a successful trader, is not to try and make predictions, right? This is just the way I trade with everything, right? Spot and leverage, right? Have a plan. When your plan happens, you're not saying it's going to happen. You're saying, look, if this happens, I'm ready and I know what I'm going to do. I'm going long. And it's a high probability setup, right? If this plan happens, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the long. We lock in the profits. If one of these plans happens, I know what I'm going to do. I'll take the long. I decide to take that long. We locked in the profits. All right. Casper Crew VIP Discord, all these setups given. All right. Even with the short trade, I took the short the other day. We locked in the profit in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. I had a plan. I had the reason. I locked in the profit. All right. By the way, shout out to the Casper Crew VIP Discord, JasonCasperTrading.com, best trading community in the world. Also, guys, I do have to remind you all that right now, if you know how to trade but you have no money, check out Klein Funding. This is not Klein Funding. This is KCEX. Klein Funding, guys. 25% discount, 15% discount on these funded accounts. It's a crypto prop firm that runs on Bybit. You don't even have to pass a challenge. 15% off an Instant Pro account, customized plans. Also, guys, make sure to check out BLOFIN. BLOFIN right now, a great platform to trade on. 20% cash back. Chance to win all these prizes. Plus, BLOFIN is going to be giving away $500 during my live streams. So shout out to BLOFIN for that. And yeah, make sure to check it out. You have to sign up to BLOFIN to be eligible for the giveaways. Make sure also, guys, to check out KCEX if you're into like really low fees. I've been enjoying scalping on this exchange here. 0% limit order, 0.01% taker order. It's actually pretty cool. Also, I'm trading on WEEX, and I'm trading on ANTARCTIC decentralized exchange. All this stuff links in the pinned comments after the video and the description. All right, so yeah, if we start to see, because we always got to be prepared for everything, as we're saying, if the Bitcoin price starts to lose our very key area of support, which is going to be the place between 112,000 and 109,000. This key box, this is the previous range support resistance flip. If we lose this, then I will have to not be bullish anymore. As long as we hold this, this is very bullish because the market structure is still bullish. In fact, I don't even know if you could consider this a cup and handle. Man, what is wrong with me today, guys? I'm like seeing all this weird stuff, contemplating all these bullish prices. You know? That's going to put us, interestingly enough, right up to our major fib target. That would actually break us out of the trend line. That would break us out of the trend line that we had just drawn before. Very interesting. But anyway, if we come back down below this, then we have to just recognize the fact, the objective fact, that we are trading back inside of the range. Okay? We're trading back inside the range. That's why when we came down here, guys, when we came down to the low 70s, I was saying this is the danger zone. This is where we either rip for the bull market all-time high, and this is our last opportunity to long Bitcoin before the bear market, but if we don't hold it, we're coming back down to the bottom of the range. Same is true right here. We come back down in here, that is very bearish. That's just as bearish as coming down into here and then coming back up. It was bullish, right? I mean, remember how bullish we were when we saw that happen, right? When we saw that happen, we were looking at this saying, once we lose it and then we come back in, we're super dang bullish. We're looking for those new all-time highs, right? Like, we lose it, we come back in, super dang bullish. The same is true right now. We break out, we come back in, super dang bearish, all right? We definitely don't want to see that happen. We don't want to see that happen. We want to see this box hold. If we don't see that box hold, then what are we looking at? We're looking at trading back inside of this range, which does mean there's a real potential that we could see a $97,000 Bitcoin. That'd be our next big stop along the way at the high volume node of the range, all right? So we start to lose 112 to 109, and then this would be our next target, right? Right around $97,000. If we lose this, then we're coming back down to our next support resistance flip at the high 80s. And if we lose that, then we're coming back down to our final level at the mid to low 70s. Right? It's very simple, level to level. I know it seems oversimplified, but here's the thing. It's always easy in hindsight to see how obvious and simple these things are, but it's very difficult in real time to see it. All right? When I was getting super bullish right here, it was difficult, even though I knew what the charts were saying, and even for a lot of people, right? It was very difficult to believe that this was the most probable thing to happen here, right? It was very difficult to believe that. But that's the reality of the chart, right? That's why we took the trade, right? From that level, looking for those new all-time highs. And so, you know, the same would be true in this situation. It's always very hard to, in the moment, because of emotions, you know, understand what's most probable. But yeah, it's really just about highs and lows and price ranging sideways. I mean, really. And again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying if we lose our first line in the sand, then it's most probable we come to our second line in the sand, right? Level to level trading. Level to level trading. Yeah, very key, man. Very key, the level to level trading. Most of the time, the asset's just going to be ranging sideways. Let's go down to our 1 hour time frame here. Zoom in a little bit. See what we got. Yeah, so look at this. We do have to acknowledge that the breakdown is possible. And there's a few things that could happen, as we already said. Number one, we could just simply get the fake out of the head and shoulders and come back in, or we could actually come down to the support and get that bounce. Right? In the event of a drop, those would be the two scenarios I would look for. Now, as long as Bitcoin's holding above this level, I think that the altcoins still have more room to pump. And we've seen some big gains on alts this week in general. So, like, I mean, look at ETH, man, just in general. What a strong pump on ETH. I know this is the 1 hour time frame, but you know, we have to understand what ETH has done here is we have gotten a very strong pump and close above major resistance. $3,300 ETH is such a key level. It's the highest volume node going all the way back to 2024, the beginning of 2024. I expect a $4,000 ETH to come very soon, actually. And then eventually, within the next few months, I expect the 5,500 to 8,500. But the last few days, like this week, you know, look, I'm in different trading discords and stuff. It is interesting. The bias of day traders can change so easily. Let's just not lose sight of what we're actually seeing here on ETH. All right, let's not lose sight of this. We had ourselves a massive dump down to bear market levels. Now we've come up and we've reclaimed the value area low of the range, okay? $2,700, I've been saying for a long time, we reclaimed that, new all-time high, okay? We've reclaimed it. Not only have we reclaimed it, we've reclaimed the highest volume node of the range. We have 2 days left for this weekly candle close. A weekly candle close above 3,300. Extremely bullish for ETH, man. So the last few days have been consolidating. Look at the weekly, though. Look at the weekly. All right, is there anything bearish about this? No, and even if we could, there's nothing bearish about this. We have big, strong moves to the upside. We have small consolidations to the downside. After bouncing from major bear market support, we're flipping resistances with strong bullish closes above with follow through, with volume, and then breaking this trend line that we tapped, we started in the first time, November 2021, tapped it again, end of 2024. You know, once we break through that, that's going to be a really nice looking, that's going to be a really nice, in my opinion, looking breakout. Now, there's a few different things that could happen here, because like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, we might not see the big pumps on these altcoins until the winter, okay? But one last thing just to be aware of would actually be this. A head and shoulders, right? So I believe we're going to see a $4,000 ETH, but it is major resistance, so don't be surprised if we see a head and shoulders form there, if we find some kind of resistance. I don't necessarily think we're going to go straight through. That might actually give us our last chance to buy ETH before the big pump, right? Even just the back test of the POC, back test 3,300. That right there could be our last chance. If we get a deeper retracement, we come back down to 2,700. In other words, if we do find resistance at 4,000, this box between 2,700 and 3,300 is going to be the area to get ETH before we see those big prices. That could actually give us. Let's just pretend that this happens here for a second. And that's going to give us a 7-to-1 risk reward on ETH if we hit the 8,000. That's going to give us a 3-to-1 if we hit our first fib target. You know, this is actually a really good setup. And of course, we're extrapolating, trying to stay one step ahead of the price action here, because that's another way you're going to get those good trades. You got to think, okay, what's possible? I'd say it's pretty possible to come up to 4,000, get everybody extremely bullish, but then we consolidate a little bit, and then we roll over, and then we come for a back test, and just wreck all the top longers, and then we get our big move, right? Then we get our big move. Bull flag it, big move. That actually seems pretty probable and likely to me. So this is something that I would be looking for, but yeah, I don't know why people are feeling bearish right now, considering these high time frames. We look at the money flow. Man, the weekly's looking good. I mean, it's looking good. It's back into the blue. That weekly money flow on ETH, that momentum wave on ETH, the 2-day time frame on ETH. Man, it looks good to me, guys. It looks really good to me. Looks like more upside is probable here. Let's check on our good friend XRP. Look at this, guys. XRP making a new local high. XRP is unstoppable, baby. XRP is unstoppable. As long as we hold above this high here at $3.40, then we're going to $4 and $5. All right, this is crazy. Beautiful, beautiful action on XRP. Love to see this kind of stuff, guys. Love to see this kind of stuff. Now, man, look. That's why you got to subscribe to the channel, because ever since we got the back test here, I've been saying this is a really good spot to get in on XRP. Even though I'm not getting in, I don't hold any XRP. I don't. All right, but I can still do analysis on the chart, and we have had many opportunity to get in here. The breakout of this, man. Our technical target, based on the bull flag, guys. That's how we got our target at $5. It's just nice and simple. It's a psychological level. It's also just the flagpole to the breakout target. $5. Pretty nuts, man. This is looking really good on XRP. I want to take a quick look at Cardano, which yesterday was breaking out. Look at this, guys. I mean, look at that strong daily close. Look at Cardano here. All right. We've got a giant cup and handle that is forming a falling wedge bullish pattern right into key fib support. And now we are breaking out of this trend line here. We've got a strong daily close, multiple 1, 2, 3, 4 daily closes above that. And the target is going to be a conservative target at $3.15. Right now, let's see, yesterday there was 7 times more upside than downside. Today there's 5 times more upside than downside. Man, you know, back before, this is a much better setup. That's why, look, if you're looking to buy altcoins in a bull run, you got to be looking for those good risk to rewards. But let's assume a $5 target, even to where we're at right now. That's 10 times more upside than downside, you know? You risk $10 to make 100, risk 100 to make 1,000. I know some people are calling for higher, $7 to $8 Cardano. Now we're talking 15, 16 to 1 risk reward. So Cardano, in my opinion, is ready to pump. It's ready to move. Another one I think is ready to move is Chainlink. All right, now unfortunately, Chainlink's already been pumping, and the risk to reward is getting worse and worse and worse from when we were looking at it down here. All right, but I do still believe that we have opportunities for Chainlink, just like we have opportunities for ETH. You know, we're looking at our local sideways range right here. If we come up again and get a little pullback, that's also going to be an opportunity, I'd say, for Chainlink. Like, we reclaim $21. We get a little dip below it. As soon as we come back above that, that could now be an entry point. That could be our entry point, which could give us, you know, a decent risk to reward for a $53 Chainlink, depending on how low that wick is. You know, we could see it. You know, it really depends. But let's say we do see like an $80 Chainlink. That would be the next opportunity, I would say. Let's you know, because I do hold a lot of Chainlink. But let's just take a look at what would happen if we got in right now. with the stop below these last lows. We're talking, even still right now, Chainlink 4 times more upside than downside just to hit that all-time high. We take it off logarithmic, you can see, you know, there's 4 times more upside than downside. And if we end up hitting, let's say, an $80 Chainlink, that's 7 times more upside than downside, even getting in right now. You know, get it, like, I'd still say as long as we're in this area, it's acceptable to get in just based on risk to reward. You know, but, you know, we have moved a little bit in the last few days. But Chainlink's looking, I like Chainlink as an asset. I like it as an asset. Look at the monthly right now, guys. Chainlink monthly. Looks like we're about to... Do we have money flow? We don't even have money flow yet, but look at this tight trigger wave here. Let's go to our 2-week. Wow, so we've got a really angular, nice looking bullish trigger wave printing here that will be confirmed in 2 days on Chainlink. It's looking really good. It's looking really bullish. A lot of these altcoins are looking really good and really bullish. I think we can see some altcoin pumps within the next few weeks. But like I said, I don't know if we're going to see big blow off tops until later on in the fall, winter time. But we're starting to see really bullish signs here. Everything, this whole entire structure, right? The past 3 years of market structure, everything is just is building bullish momentum. You know, that generic cliche, it's just a spring coiling up ready to blast off. I mean, it's true though with these coins because you have bullish divergences on the 2-week time frame, right? And then you have a change of market structure. You have a higher high. You backtest resistance as support with continued momentum, money coming into the market, a big trigger wave. You make another higher high. You make another higher low. But the higher low, even though it's a higher low, it's still backtesting once again the bear market support, like a double backtest, right? Now we're forming even more bullish signs here. We've got locally hidden bullish divergences on our 2-week time frame. This is a hidden bullish div on the 2-week. Money flow now curving from the purple into the blue. Once we reclaim this level, guys, it's going to be a fast move. It's going to be a real fast move. We've spent all this time building bullish market structure, building bullish divergences. You know, it's pretty nice. Pretty dang juicy if you ask me. Now make sure to like the video, and we have to take a look at the super chats. I'm so sorry. Shout out to Cryptina. We Europeans pronounce KCEX like KCEX. Oh, KCEX. Okay. I don't know how to say it. I just think it's funny because, you know, I just think it's funny. Shout out to JB Estrada. Can you look at ICP? My kids love the pump song. Well, shout out to your kids. Shout out to the pump song. Shout out to Insane Clown Posse and all the juggalos in the chat. Wait, is this can't be right. Is this right? Wow. Man, poor ICP. Let's check it out. Okay, so what do we see? What's so funny is I've been bullish on IPC, you know, NPC for so long. So we have, actually what's funny is this thing bottomed out after the bear market, but now we finally have a change in structure. So we finally have a low. Let's get to the weekly. See if we have more data to work with here. We have a low, a high, a higher low. Let's pull a fib here. Okay. Bouncing from the 886. See, I wish I could be as excited about ICP as I could some of these others. You know what I don't like about ICP is the complete lack of bullish divergences here. You know, I just don't like that. I don't like the complete lack of bullish divergences. We have a deep monthly momentum wave about to confirm. So here's how I would look at this, okay? And I'm forcing a bullish scenario here because I don't really see too much that I like. But let's just talk about risk to rewards. We have our range. We have our point of control. We have our value area low. which means we have a reference point now, having made our low and our higher high. 1, 2, I mean, as long as we are not losing now the value area low, we do have a reason based on market structure to get in here, okay? And we have confluence with market Cipher B on the monthly to say, okay, ICP, as long as we're not making lower lows here, we're pretty beat down. This is a low asset, all right? And what this gives us here is a clear invalidation point and a clear target back to the highs that we had back around September 2021, right? This is a 24-to-1 risk-reward ratio right here. It's actually a really good risk to reward. You can see if we get rid of that stupid wick, look at that. I mean, we're just shooting up for this wick here. Yeah, so objectively speaking, like ICP, it's not a bad time to buy it if you're bullish on the asset. Right? If you're bullish on the asset, it's not a bad time to buy it because the risk to reward is so good. And the monthly time frame giving us a nice oversold green dot, which we're front running. We're assuming it's going to print in August, September. Maybe will be confirmed in the fall. It's lining up nicely with our narrative of the fall, winter being very bullish for altcoins. So, you know, we're front running a few things, but I would say, just objectively speaking here, when we're analyzing the objective facts of the chart, we're as low could be, right? We're as low could be. We're beat down into the grass. We've made a really nice higher high, and so far a higher low, with the monthly looking like it wants to confirm a green dot soon, right? Very oversold. We're heading into an alt season, we believe. And so for those reasons combined, I'd say, based on our risk to reward, objectively speaking, if you believe in ICP fundamentally, it's a good time to be buying. All right. Now, if you don't believe in ICP fundamentally, it's a bad time to be buying. That's the thing. You know, some of these altcoins, it's not like Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It's valuable because it's Bitcoin. But these other things, you know, they got CEOs and this and that. I don't really know the details of ICP with the Internet Computer Protocol. No, I don't really know the fundamentals. But the chart looks nice, all right? Shout out to Frank Klein. Just dumped my bonk for ICP. Check that out. Yeah, I mean, look, we're checking it out now. You know, it's not the worst. It's not the worst of assets to get into. All right, we've got lots of ones in the chat. That's amazing. All right, it was Syriac Aramaic. All right, so I was right. I said Aramaic, maybe Syriac. Okay. I know this, our pink, in the Hebrew, it says, Ani ha-derech ve'ha'emet ve'ha'chaim ve'ein ish ba el ha'av ela bi, which means, I am the way and the truth and the life, and no man comes to the Father except in me. That's what Jesus said in the Gospel according to John the Apostle. Shout out to Silosis. Oh, the CME gap. Okay, we have it. We have it on that. We have it on that level. On the actual futures chart. Internet Computer Protocol sounds like a joke, but they have a real thing worth noticing. Yeah, Sharkvin, like there's some YouTubers that I follow who talk a lot about ICP, and it does sound cool, and honestly, it sounds like something that could really get huge. You know, get huge. All right. ICP looks much weaker than a lot of things. People just want to get in because it's so beat down. Yeah, and here's the thing, Pegless. You know, when it comes to assets like ICP, why not get in because it's beat down? I mean, if you got a little money on the side and you're bullish on the fundamentals, you know, like I always say, I do always say this. Let's say you have like 10 grand or 1 grand or whatever the amount is. And you're like, this is like money I'm going to set aside for some altcoins in case they move, right? And you have it down to a few coins where it's like, all right, these all have really good risk to reward ratios, right? You have 10 coins, okay? And, you know, if you're risking, in this instance, you know, you're risking $1 to make 24 bucks, all right? Let's say you have 10 bucks. We're keeping it real simple. You're looking for these assets where you're risking $1 to make like 20, 30, 40, 50, 100,000, who knows, right? Even if 90%, 9 out of 10 of your assets go to zero, you could still profit, right? Let's, like for example, ICP, let's say you got 10 bucks, all right? You're gonna put $10 into different altcoins, $1 into each coin. If 9 of them literally go to zero, but one of them does the 25-to-1 risk reward, you've literally more than doubled your investment, right? You've more than doubled your investment. So what you don't want to do is be buying altcoins that have already pumped. You know, you want to be buying ones that are beat down. But then you got to research the fundamentals. It's not like, I don't recommend just throwing money at stuff. I recommend you research the project, have a reason to be bullish fundamentally, and then have a reason to be bullish based on the technicals, if you know what I mean. Peter says, I made the most money in my life risking 1,000 over 8 assets. Yeah, isn't that nuts? Shout out to Peter. SHIB was that one. Yeah, I made more money on SHIB in one long, leverage long trade than I ever made ever. Back in 2022, or was it 2022, I think? 2023? I don't know, but yeah, SHIB percentage gain-wise was my biggest percent gain ever. ADA. Shout out to Arpink. Alright, we've got another super chat. Can we take a look at Polkadot? Absolutely. Absolutely. Alright, now Polkadot's another one of those assets. You got to do your research. Fundamentals, important here. However, look, risk to reward ratios. Alright. Risk to reward ratio, absolutely fantastic. We're looking literally at 45-to-1 risk reward. We're beat down to the floor. I mean, it's the monthly chart. Literally as low as could go. We've got potential bullish divergences forming here. You know, we've got literally bullish divergences forming on the monthly. We've got the weekly time frame. We've got bullish divergences on the weekly. Multiple drive. We're at support. Now, I know a lot of people say Polkadot, that because of the fundamentals and the way the tokenomics work and the printing of more Polkadot, we'll never hit those prices again, even if the market cap's the same, because it'll be split across more coins. Even if we just come back up to a $13 Polkadot, that's still 10 times more reward than risk, 10 times more upside than downside. If we happen to hit the all-time high, that's 45 times more upside than downside. Now, do your own research on the tokenomics, because this brings up a good point. If there were 100 Polkadots available to buy here, and now there's 25,000 available to buy here, it's just like the US dollar. Like, it's not going to be as valuable, right? So, like, if they're really increasing the supply like that, it might not be able to come up here. So do your own research. But technically speaking, and when I say technically, I mean the technical analysis of the actual candles on the chart, support resistance levels, and oscillators, this is a good looking place to get in. You're not going to get Polkadot for lower than this. All right? You're not. This is support. This has literally been support since 2020. We've got 5 years of the market telling us you're not going to get Polkadot lower than this. So if you have any bullish reason to buy Polkadot, even if we don't make to all-time highs, it's still more upside than downside at this point, right? Thank you so much for the super chat, my man. All right, 21 thumbs. Can we look at Inj? Can we take a look at Inj? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not take a look at Inj? Why not? All right, so here's the deal. Inj. We were front running, last time we spoke here, we were front running the breakout of our key level at 1305. I still say this is valid. The fact now that we're about to close, let's see, did we close any dailies above? Yeah, so we closed some dailies above it. So here's what I think about Inj. We have a really nice low here. We have a higher high. Then we're forming this channel, all right? We're forming this falling wedge. It's a bullish channel, and we have a really nice hidden bullish divergence here on our weekly time frame. A big BitBoy green dot, money flow curving back up with a nice trigger wave. Inj looks, in my opinion, bullish to hit the target of our wedge. The target of our wedge is going to be a $52 INJ. We haven't broken out yet, and obviously this trend line can be drawn in many different ways. Okay, so we haven't necessarily broken out yet. But the fact that we are reclaiming 1305 is very bullish. Okay, this was our last major support resistance flip right here. All right, it was support in 2023, support in 2024, support in 2025. We lost it. We came up. We got a rejection, but we made a higher low with really nice bullish divergence. All right, higher low with bullish divergence trigger wave. The weekly looks really good right now. This weekly on Inj looks like it's about to blast. All right. So right now, I'd say the risk to reward is good. The risk to reward is good, right? For the first time here, literally the first time in this whole wedge, what are we seeing different about this time? There's two major things. Like, why do I lean bullish here? Because the whole time we were unable ever to make a nice higher low, right? We weren't able to make a higher low here, right? Every time we make a lower low. Now for the first time, we're seeing the price action do something which hasn't done. We come down, we make our low, we make our high, we make our higher low. And the second thing that's different about this is the first time we see bullish divergences on the weekly. Bullish divergences on the weekly. Don't ever underestimate bullish divergences on weekly market Cipher B. The third thing that's different about this time is we're in the altcoin pocket. All right, the golden pocket is good for Bitcoin. For altcoins, the pocket is between the 786 and the 886. We have come down and literally bounced to the dollar from the Fibonacci 886. Do you guys see that? And so all these things are pointing to this is the real reversal. And yeah, we're front running it now. But the weekly market Cipher B, don't mess with this indicator here. When you see a bullish divergence on the weekly, and then you see a higher high, a higher low, and a trigger wave like this close to the zero line, angular like that, the momentum coming higher here, money flow getting higher here, it looks like we are really coming towards that place where within the next few months, we're going to see a big pump. The last time we saw something similar to this was back here in June 2022. And that was a different kind of environment because that was in the middle of a bear market. Now we're seeing this happening in a bull market. 5-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Not bad. That's to hit the target of the wedge. If we see new highs, let's say we come to a $75. 8-to-1 risk-reward. You know, not bad. Not bad at all. All right. Now, the risk to reward is not as good on this as it is on some others, but this is also a newer coin here. Actually, it's not. Never mind. It's not really a newer coin. It's not a newer coin. It's old. I thought it was new. But let's just look at this. So we are forming like this kind of pattern here on the log scale. So we could expect another higher high to come in at the trend line here. Around the winter, and if we break out of this, we could see a big pump. I'm not saying we're going to, but it's a level to be aware of right now. This trend line connecting the highs. Definitely be aware of that for profit taking. Yatako says Doge is about to reap. Doge is about to reap. Let's see. I do hold Doge. Just because it's Doge, you can't not hold Doge. The only thing I could see here about Doge, right, would be, you know, the potential of the cup and handle forming here, you know. In which case we've got our cup, we've got the handle, we've got the cup, we've got the handle. Take the Fibonacci from the low to the high, coming right down to the 786 Fibonacci. Absolutely fantastic, smashing me lads. It's smashing me laddies. All right, but I have to say, you know, in general, I wish we had seen some more bullish divergences. We haven't really seen them. Now I'm getting a little bit Aussie sounding here, mate. We haven't really seen the bullish the divergences. We ain't seen them bullish divergences here, which is what makes me a little bit concerned compared to some of the other charts that we got. You know what I'm saying? But look, let's just say this is a cup and handle over here. All right, we're gonna take our target, see where we get to. All right, on the breakout from the neckline, that's just about $1. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see Doge at $1. In fact, that's where I plan to take profits. Actually, I plan to front run $1. So 97, 98 cents would be a target here. But you know, look, I wish the chart looked more bullish than it does. But I could see it pumping. I could see it pumping, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't look primed to pump based on the oscillators, all right? Based on the fact that it's Dogecoin and it always pumps. And when you think it can't pump anymore, it pumps even more. All right, now here's the thing with Doge and me. Back in the old days, I remember Doge pumping out of nowhere. Me thinking, why? How's it possible that Doge pumps, you know, 300% out of nowhere? Then it pumps again out of nowhere, right? Then it pumps again out of nowhere. And every time you think it's never gonna pump again, it pumps again out of nowhere, all right? So historically speaking here, it pumps out of nowhere when you least expect it. But here's the difference between then and now. Back then, I never took Doge seriously at all. I never took it seriously. You know, when I first got into crypto, look, I'm a real crypto guy. I'm a real Bitcoiner from back in the day. You know, hate the government, hate banks, you know, that kind of stuff. I look at Bitcoin for the fundamentals. You know, peer-to-peer means of exchange without any kind of middleman here. No central banks to fund all your wars and cause all the disturbances in the world, you know. And so when something comes out like Doge, you say it's literally a joke coin. You say, I don't want to put my money into that, right? Now here's the difference. This time I've got money in Doge. So because Jason Casper has money in Doge, that highly decreases the chance of it pumping again. All right, because my life don't work like that, right? It's only gonna pump if I ain't got any. Now that I got myself a bag, you know, that decreases the probabilities. But I gotta say, it wouldn't surprise me if we do see Doge pump to $1. All right, thank you so much for the super chat. Ya Taco. Ya Taco. Ya Taco. Man, we have 17,000 people in the chat. We only have 2 likes. My Aussie does suck. Oh, I'm sorry, Wogs. I know, man. It's horrible. But sometimes when I try to do UK accent, a few words come out sounding Aussie. You know? The boy in live stream is on. That's right, guys. The boy in live stream is on right now in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. Which means I'm gonna... Should I stay or leave? I mean, Boyne's literally about to tell you what exactly to do in the Casper Crew. He's gonna give the exact level to the dollar, where long and short. Boyne's literally a machine, you know? Boyne is literally a machine, baby. So shout out to Boyne in the Casper Crew. Dude is about to do a VIP live stream right now. Doing his New York. Man, this dude is giving it to the exact dollar right now. We could even get a little sneak preview. You can't hear what he's talking about, but Man, my man Boyne, one of the best traders in the world. You know, he's giving it to you straight, never giving it to you gay right now in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. I gotta watch this stream after I'm done so that I don't miss out on the juicy gains. You know? Man. He expects lower. You guys heard it. Boyne expects lower. Yeah, Aussie is difficult for us Americans to pick up because it sounds the same as a British accent, but not really. Can I do AVAX? I'm super bullish on AVAX. It looks really bottomed out, and I expect it to pump like crazy. Shout out to Jay Biley, who was like 400. Shout out to Splash for our films. Yeah, JasonCasperTrading.com if you want to get into those VIP live streams where we give the dang setups in advance. Myself, Boyne, others, Thor, White Phoenix. We give the setups. We don't give signals, but look, if I'm here at the chart and I see a good opportunity, I will let the community know that I'm taking a trade, okay? Like I say, it's not a signals group. Alright? So just because I say I'm long, just because I say I've taken a long trade, doesn't mean you should do it. Alright? Say no financial advice. Alright? Look, we'll put the bowl in front of you. We'll put the cereal in the bowl. We'll put the milk on the cereal. We'll put the spoon in your hand. We'll take your hand. We'll put it into the bowl. But you're the one that has to take it back and put it in your mouth. Oh. What kind of cereal is that? Peanut Butter Crunch? Man, I love me some Peanut Butter Crunch. You know what's funny? I actually don't love Peanut Butter Crunch. You guys ever notice this? Eat super clean diet, and then one day you're out somewhere at a hotel and you see they have peanut butter crunch for breakfast, and you get some peanut butter crunch and you put some like 2% homogenized, pasteurized milk on it, and you're ready for the most amazing taste in the world, and you're like, ugh! How did I like this when I was younger? How? You know, when you eat clean, man, clean food is way better than junk food. People always talk about how hard it is to eat clean. When you eat clean, man, you crave healthy food, and junk food tastes like crap. You think it tastes good. But I remember the last time I had Taco Bell, February 21st, 2018. I was so excited because I hadn't had Taco Bell since, before 2018, I hadn't had Taco Bell since 2013. So it's been 5 years, and I used to love Taco Bell. I literally, one time, no joke, I ran 1.5 miles at night to get Taco Bell because the rest of my crew was at McDonald's. And I said, no, I need Taco Bell. So I ran 1.5 miles at night to get Taco Bell. That's how much I loved it, right? Ate it every day, multiple times a day. Thought it was the best thing ever. After 5 years of eating clean, I go to Taco Bell, take my first bite. Just no flavor. It's like the overwhelming amount of salt, and it's like, where's the flavor? You know? I could make better tacos at my house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Taco Bell. I had a thing for Taco Bell. Me and Taco Bell, we had a thing going on, baby. We had a thing going on, let me tell you. Junk food makes me feel terrible. Yeah, me too, Pegless. It makes me feel bad. It makes me look bad. I love eating healthy. Like, I enjoy. I don't have any temptation. I'll be out at a party. Hey, Jason, you want this ice cream? Now, look, guys, I love ice cream. Don't get me wrong. Me and my wife, when we first got married, we had a freezer in our garage of the apartment that we had at the time that only had ice cream. We stocked it full of ice cream only, okay? I love ice cream. But, I don't have any temptation to eat that. If you're eating clean, man. How's Taco Coin doing? Is there a Taco Coin? Can I start live streaming later in the day? Maybe I will in the fall, Hype Soul. You know, maybe I will in the fall. But I've been doing the early thing lately. What about crypto? Yeah, we just spent the last hour talking about it, man. Now we're talking about Taco Bell, you know? Taco Bell's a good colonic. I don't know. I'll never forget this one time. So when I was younger, I've always had a strange relationship with food, right? Because I was very fat as a kid and as a young teenager. I was extremely fat, right? So I remember the first time I really lost weight by basically becoming anorexic, essentially. Literally not eating. And pretending to eat and saying I was eating even though I wasn't. Right? I did that for as long as I could bear. And I lost a lot of weight really quick, actually. Probably a lot of it was muscle, right? But I remember I went to White Castle with my friends. We got a crave case after months of me not eating very much at all. And I ate as many cheeseburgers as possible. Let me tell you, the things that ensued post eating of that Taco Bell was very intense. All right, I remember I was watching a movie with my friends in someone's bedroom, and let's just say I didn't really get to finish the movie because within 10 minutes it was bathroom time, baby. Hard to believe I was fat. Yeah, I'm a fat boy at heart. I love to eat. Like, I eat so much. You know? So I don't get how some people, they don't eat. Like, I used to have friends. Like, I remember I had a lot of friends. You know, the skinny guys. You know, I was in the heavy metal scene, right? Everyone's skinny. They just don't get hungry, man. They just don't get hungry. Or they're like, oh, I'm so hungry. They, like, make a sandwich. They eat, like, half. And then, oh, I'm so full. Oh. It's like, what the heck, bro? I could eat like 7 of those sandwiches and still like be hungry. You know? Yeah, I got watermelons to grow, baby. If you want to get fat quick, eat frozen pizza, ice cream, and Wendy's. Look, if you want the secret, if you guys want, this is the real secret right here. About to share a real secret, all right? If you want to look like this effortlessly, all right? Effortlessly. All year round, all right? Without trying. And eating as much as you want. As much as you want. Eating as much as you want. I'm not even joking. Eating as much as you want. Eating sometimes to where you're like, oh man, I'm full, babe. I'm super full. Right? On a regular basis. Here's the secret. I'm about to tell you the secret. It's gonna sound crazy. It's gonna sound like some bro science. It is some bro science. First of all, you have to lift heavy weights 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. Heavy weights, all right, with good form. That's the first thing. The second thing that you need to do is you need to sleep. All right, you need to sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. The third thing is you got to be active, all right? You got to get your steps in. That's why I'm on the treadmill all the time, all right? And then the fourth thing, there's 4 things, right? Lift heavy weights, sleep, be active, all right? Get your 10, 15, 20,000 steps a day. If you have a sedentary office job, get a treadmill desk. It's effortless, literally, to walk like this and talk. It's effortless, but it keeps your metabolism going, right? The fourth thing is this: only eat single ingredient whole foods. Only eat single ingredient whole foods as much as you want. And what will happen is you will get strong, you'll feel good, you'll have energy, you'll have drive, and your body naturally will be strong and lean. You can't put good quality food into your body while you're also doing those other things and get fat, in my opinion. I mean, it's high quality fuel. But like this is the cheat code, man. Because honestly, I remember there was a time in my life where I thought I would never be able to maintain visible abs ever unless I was like starving to death. All right, go back 10 years. Back in the day when me and my wife had our freezer full of ice cream, the only way I could get abs was if I like starved myself for like 6 weeks, and then I felt like crap. But it's because I was trying to fit ice cream in, and, you know, I wasn't walking a lot, you know. I was lifting, but the food quality wasn't that great. You know, you're eating potatoes, beans, vegetables, fruits, dairy, nuts and seeds, eggs. You know, it'll be hard to overeat that, even if you're a fat boy like me. Alright? Even if you're a fat boy like me, it's hard to overeat on that. Now mix that with, like I said, the sleep, the training, and the just not being on your butt all day, and you'll effortlessly look jacked and lean and feel good, man. I feel so good. I have so much energy. I wake up in the morning, I'll do like assault bike sprints. I feel light. I feel strong. I'm in the gym, I feel strong, man. Like, in general, like, there are times where I get burnt out from lifting too much, but then you gotta pull it back. But that's the secret, man. That's the secret. You get 6 hours a night, you're doomed. Well, everyone needs different amounts of sleep. I know for me, the number is between 7 and 9. And I've experimented with it a lot, because back in 2022, 2023, 2024 especially, I tried to sleep 6 hours a night because I tried to like hack my life to have like extra time in the morning. And I ran myself into the ground, man. I ran myself into the ground. And I didn't look as lean anyway, you know? Then you sleep more. You just sleep the fat off, you know? About to write a book, Sleep the Fat Away. You know, you guys tired of being fat? Unwanted belly fat? Just lay in bed more. That'll fix it. Just sleep more, you know? You just burn it off in your sleep, baby. You know? Just burn it off in your sleep. I'm starving for a $5 Cardano. Me too. Me too. I'm starving for a $5 Cardano. And once we get it, it's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. You didn't get $100 on WEEX. They ended that a few days ago. They ended the $100 sign up a few days ago. Crypto Server says 6 hours is the golden spot for him. Yeah, everyone's different, man. Everyone's different. High protein, TRT. Well, I can't get on board with the TRT, but definitely high protein is important. Like, yeah, you gotta eat your eggs, you gotta eat your dairy, you gotta eat your meat, you gotta eat your nuts and seeds, your legumes. You know, you gotta eat that stuff. Nine hours of sleep. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. But give it a shot. I mean, look, I'm a different kind of person because I haven't had a job since 2013, so I've been making my own schedule since 2013. All right, but if you work for yourself, make the extra time, because every other area of your life is going to be more efficient. You're going to get more done if you have more sleep. Like, no. It's just night and day. I'd rather lose an hour of my day with more sleep than have an extra hour with less sleep. You know? So, have I started trading on Klein? Yeah, I messed around with it, Splashfire. I haven't taken any real trades on it. I've just been like messing around with opening up positions and seeing how it works. But so far, I really like the interface. And you can do it on mobile too if you log into Bybit with your demo account. You've been up all night just to catch the show? Jesse Bishop? Well, go to sleep, man. Go to sleep, you know? Because, that's so important. Right? So dang important. It is weird, the society we built, the grind culture, work every day, no days off, you know, don't sleep. That's so destructive, man. That is so destructive. And I know the temptation is there. because I've fallen into it too. But we need to have days off, all right? Even God says take a day off. He says 6 days you shall. He commands us to work hard for 6 days. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the 7th day is a day of rest, right? Sanctified, set apart, so you can spend time with God and with other people. Right? A set apart gathering on that 7th day to just relax, don't do any work, let yourself be refreshed. There's times for working hard and there's times for resting. You know, before electricity, before indoor lighting, when the sun goes down, you go down. Now we live in this artificial world where you can, unless you're Evan Aldo up there in Finland, where the sun doesn't go down until like 11 p.m. But for most of us who don't live super close to one of the poles, yeah, right, Splash, it's great to trade on Bitget again, right? Shout out to Bullish on Parade. You own the companies, but your wife is the boss. LOL. Is Bitcoin dumping? Let's see. Yeah, it's getting a little bit of a dump here. Again, a little bit of a dump. Let's see what happens here. Shout out to Samuel Manuel. You know, look, we're just consolidating here. I don't consider this a dump, really. It's so crazy, like the last few days, guys. You know, and to be fair and to be honest, the biggest move that we've had was from this low. Right from the dang trade setup in the Casper crew that I told everyone I was taking. Given in advance. The biggest move is the one that I publicly gave. You know? This is just Chop City right now. This is, be careful. If you're trading this stuff, guys, be a scalper. Be a scalper right now. If you're trading this stuff, be a scalper. Lock it in quick. You know, you know, really. If you're trying to make money in these markets, take a profit quick. If you're just hedging against your longs, that's a different story. Shout out to Duriani from India. There's a gap, 114 to 115. Okay, cool. Cool. Shout out to Seth, who got 10 hours of sleep last night. That's what's up. Yeah, sometimes you need that, right? Sometimes you need that 10 hour. That 10 hour. Alright. How are people trading on Bitget again? No KYC? It's through Klein funding, so it's a prop firm that runs on Bitget. So you don't need KYC to trade through Klein funding. You set up an account with no KYC and then connect via API, and you use Bitget as the interface without KYC. And you know, so you could be trading with these funded accounts. There's 25%, 15% discount in the description, guys, if you're interested in that. Bitcoin couldn't get cooked. All right, we'll see. If we go low, what's the target for Bitcoin? Well, there's a few targets. You know, there's some levels in the Casper crew that I'm looking at that I'll let my people know if I'm taking along from there. But in general, you know, if I'm talking about public analysis here, a fake out of the head and shoulders is something I would be looking for, you know. We have this little bit of volume, you know, right around this area. Fake out of the head and shoulder, or a move back down to 109 to 112, which is our major support resistance flip at 109 to 112. We lose 109 to 112, and that is very bearish. But You know, look, for right now, I'd say we've seen patterns like this many times in the past, and this time could be different. But how many times have we seen in the past few months, like in 2025 specifically, where Bitcoin gets a big pump, forms a range where it makes higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and everybody's waiting for the liquidity grab, but it never happens. We've literally seen this over and over again. Like, so it wouldn't surprise me if we just keep doing this and then eventually we break out, because right now the daily time frame is telling us we need to consolidate a little bit, but overall things look bullish. So I expect consolidation and then pump again, and in an extreme case, and we do take the liquidity, you know, we're looking at the let's just call it 110 area for the big retest and bounce. All right, that would be the target of the head and shoulder if we take it from the high to the neckline and extrapolate down yonder. That's going to put us right in that zone here, 109 to 112. All right. Shout out to Dave Digital. You can get a six-pack by subscribing to Jim Bros on X. You can get a six-pack by subscribing to Jason Casper on YouTube. Do I ever eat bugs? Yeah, I've eaten grasshoppers before. Yeah, I've eaten grasshoppers in the past. Yeah, for sure. Does that mean you can get your old Bybit account back? I don't know. I don't know if you can get your old account back. If you can still log in, then yeah, probably. I mean, I've KYC'd on Bybit with my Palu ID. Can you hedge trade on KCEX? Yes, you can. I just tested this out the other day. I could open a long right now and counter trade my short. Yeah, you can. You can hedge on KCEX. I like KCEX a lot. I like the interface. It reminds me a lot of old school MEXC. I like the vibes on KCEX. In fact, I like it so much. I think, link in the description, by the way, for all the juicy sign-up stuff that they give us YouTubers. I like it so much, I'm going to have to make it blue and purple. This is how you can tell it's coming to the inner circle. The inner circle trading. When it's blue and purple, man. There you go. Shout out to KCEX. I like my KCEX the way I like my candles. Blue and purple, baby. Bullish on parade. I shook Jay's hand and all my hair grew back. I got a six-pack and my squat went up by 150 pounds. That's funny, bro. Pump on NY Open. Well, we got 3 minutes till NY Open. 3 minutos. Yeah, grasshoppers are a single food ingredient. That's true. Yeah. What is a legume? It's like a bean. Peanuts, black beans, kidney beans, navy beans, great white northern beans, lima beans. You know? That's what's up. Do I use ZoomX? I haven't really, you know? I haven't really. I don't have anything against it. I just haven't really. You know, there's just been other exchanges in my life, and there's only so many you can trade on, right? But, cool. Well, guys, I'm going to call it a stream, man. God bless you all in Jesus' name. Hope everyone has a wonderful day, a wonderful week. And I will see you guys next week, Lord willing. Peace.